Connecting.
There we go.
How's my audio?
Now I have it where I can use my PC to do this. Trying to get my audio device set up, so give me a moment.
Yeah, it's all good. How's my audio? Can you hear me relatively okay?
Actually work with
I'll
me.
tell you what. Let me just mute my mic and I'll check YouTube.
What was your default? There we go.
How's my audio?
Now I have it where I can say something as a test because I am trying to get this to
It's
work.
all good. It's all good. I muted my mic and just checked.
Discord is being a pain for me. Give me a moment. I can't hear a thing that you're saying due to.
We'll get this sorted
Oh,
eventually.
usually how this works. Discord. Okay, give me a moment.
Yep, no worries.
There we go. I think I have it working now. Now I can hear you.
Yep, cool.
That's the one down.
I can hear you a bit better as well.
Yeah, that's downside of running an audio device, especially through THX. Good stream equipment, just not so great setup and dial.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to take it off to wipe off the head. It's seeped onto it. It's nice.
Right, so ARMA reforger. So it's the IGN page here says that it's not ARMA 4. It's kind of like specifically said that. Bohemia Interactive made that abundantly clear during a slightly confusing rollout. It's meant to be a test bed, apparently. I mean, I've looked at some of the screenshots for this game.
Yeah, it looks nice. I mean, it's not a bad.
It looks like a good game. I mean, the rendering on it is going to be a bit difficult, I imagine, for some PC players.
Machines. Yeah. As with I've read a lot of Bohemia stuff, and yes, it was confusing when they started rolling it out. It was pretty confusing, and for them to say it's not ARMA 4 but more of a test bed, they're not really given much information on ARMA 4, but this one, everyone that's been waiting for something from them, this is basically it.
Yeah, I suppose it's better than just another update to Arma 3, because I mean, it's like that's what GTA have been doing for years now. They've just been rolling out new updates for GTA 5, and then obviously you've got the redefined trilogy that they released for GTA with it being GTA Vice City and San Andreas.
Yeah, and that was a dumpster fire.
It was so bad. People reacted so badly. And you know what? I kind of did as well because everybody is waiting for a new GTA. I think when that releases, that's going to be the talk of the town.
That's definitely gonna rock some charts for a lot of people because they've been waiting for it.
Yeah, for a long time as well. How long do you reckon it'll take LSPDFR to jump on that?
Probably not very long. If I'm not mistaken, LSPDFR, when the PC port when they jumped GTA to PC and everything, it took them like 10 days and they had it already up and running.
Yeah. Although I suppose when I don't fuck off. I suppose when they released GTA, it took them about a year to port it onto PC, didn't it? It was released on console first.
Yeah, it took from 2014 to 2015, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, around about that. It took them about a year to port it onto PlayStation 5.
Yeah, I would pleased to announce this if people haven't read this on the Steam page. Any console players that have wanted ARMA, this is your chance to actually get it because it is deploying on Xbox. For the first time, we have finally heard something of ARMA being put to console.
You
For
see, the
years.
thing about that is, that's kind of good news and bad news all at the same time.
Yes.
It's good news because people that can't afford a PC or can't afford the PC specs to be able to run a game like Arma, it's great, but because it's being ported to Xbox, does that mean that a lot of the mechanics that we know and love for games like ARMA and I mean, look at DayZ. DayZ is
Yeah,
so intricate with the amount of things that you can do on PC. When it was ported to console, a lot of that got stripped away.
yeah, it got either toned down to a minor extent or just pulled entirely.
Exactly.
Which I noticed with this a lot of stuff. Any DayZ fans can recognize a lot of reused assets from this, but the
Mm.
map for any diehard Arma fan will recognize the map almost immediately because the very first Arma game to ever come out, granted this is the first step towards Arma 4, but this is also a tribute back to what started it all,
Yeah, I
the
suppose
original,
that
the Cold
that's
War assault.
that's. I mean, going on to the other subjects that we're talking about today, that's kind of like what Call of Duty are doing. Although,
Yeah.
see, with Call of Duty, I hope that. I mean, this is like Activision's turn, isn't it? Is it Activision? No, who is it? Because
I was
the
gonna say Activision and Infinity Ward are doing it.
Infinity Ward, yeah, like they take turns with Treyarch, um, like Treyarch doing the Black
Yeah,
Ops series. But what I've noticed with Call of Duty specifically is Modern Warfare 2020, was it 20, no, it was 2019, weren't it? Fucking hell, 3 years ago.
yeah,
Modern Warfare 2019 was a great game. In my opinion, the best Call of Duty that's been released since like the early days.
yeah.
But
I mean, I tried it. I felt it was good. When Cold War came out, the first few weeks of that, I played it on day one with friends.
you see,
Actually, not even day one. We played it the day before day one because early access.
yeah, with
That game had huge potential. Nowadays, it's not not having huge potential, but it has problems with the updates are too big, you're not getting much content. Each season you're losing your prestige, so you have to start all over again unless you prestige, which for many new players that can be a challenge.
yeah, I get that. I suppose when it with the whole resetting the prestige things, it's it's kind of smart because it keeps people wanting to play the game instead of them just prestiging to however high they can go and just leaving
Yeah,
it there and
abandoning it.
then. But what I have noticed with Call of Duty specifically is, especially with the last two games, being Black Ops Cold War and Vanguard, they've almost started rehashing old games. Like Vanguard
Yeah,
is ridiculously similar to um, World War Two, Call of Duty World War Two, and I'm not saying that in
yeah,
terms of storyline. I'm saying it in terms of era. Um, I mean, granted, when Call of Duty have attempted stepping out of like the modern era or the past era, it's kind of gone tits up for them. I mean, just look at Advanced Warfare and what was it,
yeah. That
Infinite Warfare,
those were so highly anticipated, and they would
flopped.
just yeah. Hopefully,
Advanced Warfare wasn't too bad. It was Infinity Warfare that ruined it for them. I
yeah.
mean, they were
Infinite Warfare made no sense.
yeah,
Advanced had potential. It still could, depending on if they would have gone back, fixed a few things, it could have stuck around longer.
yeah. I reckon if they're gonna make another one, they should go with Advanced Warfare. I mean, they were pushing the limits with Black Ops 3 and 4, like
Yes.
in terms of sci-fi and just out of the reach of man. And then they went a bit far with Advanced Warfare, and then they went way too far with Infinite Warfare, especially with the zombies. Because for a lot of die-hard Call of Duty Zombies fans, the Infinite Warfare and Advanced Warfare kind of just ruined it for them. And I guess it took Black Ops 4 for them to kind of bring it back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I mean, when you go to when you look at Call of Duty Zombies, um, a lot of the best games, like what it's known for, are outdated, are not playable anymore. Because I mean, Black Ops 2 Zombies, for example, that can only be played on Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 and PC
Yep.
if you can find it. And
Yeah,
I mean,
that's the one downside with the older games is the immense success they've funneled that and they've tried to bring it to the newer ones with Black Ops 2 to Black Ops 3. It had a similar feeling with the multiplayer, yes. Zombies was pretty good because it usually continues the trend of that, which I love that Cold War does one thing. It kind of explains the setup of what happens with zombies on Black Ops, any of the early Black Ops.
yeah,
It's kind of a setup to it. It alludes to the past of it. It's telling you what's happening because with World War II zombies, that doesn't make much sense because there's nothing going on. But as if you play Cold War and listen to some of the dialogue, it says this was a Nazi experiment, yada yada yada.
yeah. They
And
with Black Ops, they really put in a lot of effort when it came to the storyline, and I
yeah,
think that's what's prized them the most.
they've always had the talents of pulling a story that's been worth it.
Yeah, and
And then
not only that they didn't go overboard with the DLCs, which they could have
yeah,
done. I mean, they made massive amounts of profit and revenue off the DLCs, but they didn't go overboard. They didn't go say like EA amounts of
yes,
overboard. EA
we're
take the
looking at you,
piss.
Sims 4.
Yeah,
$12,000 for every known add-on for Sims 4.
yeah, it's
Yes,
fucking
I would.
ridiculous.
I EA games had me intrigued with the Sims series because it was a life simulator. It was fun. It's something that you can do as a break from actual reality, but you have to pay to get what's worth playing with and all that. And even then, it's
Yeah,
a crapshoot. Whereas Activision went in with Black Ops 3, you had to buy the maps for zombies. I
you
mean,
did have
yeah,
you did have a few maps that were available, but to get the like I think the
yeah,
maps in Black Ops 3 you had um,
Shadows of Evil, and
Shadows
I
of
think
Evil, you had the Titanic one. Was that Black Ops 3?
that was Black Ops 2 that
No, 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 no,
gave you
no.
that.
I'm on about
Wait,
like the.
no, yeah, I know what you're
I
about
think it was.
now. I just can't remember the name of it.
I don't know. Um, and I can't remember because I know it was Black Ops 4. You had like the arena map IV or something.
Yeah, I've
Um,
seen gameplay of that. I have the game. I never wanted to play it because I never got into Black Ops that much, except for Cold War. Cold War was the only one that made me actually have to hunt down a copy of myself to purchase.
yeah,
And I mean, I don't regret it, but I do kind of regret that.
yeah. See, the issue I have with Black Ops is they've tried too hard to recreate something they already have.
Yeah,
And I
with
mean,
Modern Warfare, they could have made more with the series because Modern Warfare 3, I don't remember the ending of it, but I think it kind of left on a bit of a cliffhanger.
with Modern Warfare 3 in it didn't. It ended with see the storyline to Modern Warfare, the original Modern Warfare series. This is Call of
Yeah.
Duty 4, Modern Warfare, Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3. The it had such an intricate storyline that they planned out from the beginning, and when you really look at Captain Price, when you look at his life, the Modern Warfare series really does revolve around him. I mean, I know you have your
You have Salt McTavish, also known as the main character of 4 itself, which, but even in Modern, yeah, Modern Warfare, Call of Duty 4, you had missions such as One Shot, One Kill, or All Ghillie that explain more in depth as to Captain Price's backstory more than a lot of anything else,
yeah. Call of
which
Duty
was
did
really well designed.
a really good job of letting the player really have a connection the with the characters in game. I mean,
Yeah,
but when you look at Captain Price's life, I guess he started off in Call of Duty 4 with um, Soap,
He had
um,
so Gaz and several others that he
Gaz,
worked with.
yeah. But then over the course of the next few games, they all die, and
Yeah,
Captain Price is he's his kind of stigma is explained and opened up fully when you get to the end of Modern Warfare 3, because at the end of Modern Warfare 3 you're playing as Price, and you but throughout the rest of the game, when it comes to the Task Force 141 missions, um, you're playing as um,
number one.
Yuri.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's his name.
Um, and at the end, on the last mission of Modern Warfare 3, it is just Yuri and Price. You're playing as Price, and Yuri dies while trying to kill, I think it's Makarov.
Yeah, because if I'm not
Um,
mistaken, you're in the airport from No Russian because in Modern Warfare 2 there's a reference that if this was a thing that was well known, and it is still even in remastered campaign if you go back and look,
yeah, the
in
all gillied up.
you can find Yuri's body well before we even knew his name.
That's not strictly true.
It depends. From what I've heard, and I've found it myself, I just don't.
See,
It's just
the what that is Yuri was in Modern Warfare 3 after working with Makarov.
yeah.
Um, um, which Price didn't find out about until after Soap died. Um, but
That was pretty hard to deal with for some players because we had grown to
it
know Soap.
was devastating. I mean, it was, I want to say, the best death in any Modern Warfare game, because it really got into touch with the emotions of everybody that played it, that had been following the series.
The only other game series I've felt that have done the main character justice like that you feel bad that they're not going to be back, but you've grown to know them that much, was Hotline Miami. The entirety series, the only two games of that series. From the first one, you feel well in touch. You're the character basically. You have choices that you can make
Hmm.
to an extent. But in the second one, you see the character from one that is now basically being punished for everything that he's done in the first game, right up until the end where they kill him off, obviously in all the other characters.
Hmm.
But with that game, it rewinds a lot to explain his backstory, what may have happened, what was the initiative behind a lot of what was going on in Hotline Miami, right up in the events of two, to the point because the game never explains the characters in a coma for a majority of it.
Yeah, I mean, another game kind of like that is, if you look at games like Just Cause, for example. You ever play Just Cause?
Yes.
What's his name? It's Rico, isn't it, or something like that?
Yeah.
Um, from the first Just Cause I played, funnily enough, was Just Cause 2, when you only had a grappling hook and the fucking parachute. Um, and I mean, throughout that entire game, um, it was one of those games where once you'd finished the main storyline, you were left feeling a bit empty, like something was
Yeah.
missing. Um, then
Which
Modern Warfare. Then Just Cause 3 came along, and you had this massive expansion, better graphics, different game engine. You had the wingsuit, um, and it blew my tiny little mind. And just that feeling of having something else to do with that character was nice.
yeah, I've always felt that with games that give you that feel of the story can continue, but from to a different extent.
Yeah.
From with development of Hotline Miami, it had a lot of influence from the movie Drive and the lack of a character not having a voice as a reference to Gordon Freeman from Half Life, which that series love it to it love it as much as you can. It's fun to play, but it kind of leaves on cliffhangers. That's
Yeah.
what it does. But
Yeah.
like with
See.
Hotline Miami, you have a girl character that you can save that is literally in the game nicknamed girlfriend. The sad part about that is when you save her, the game fast forwards time to mimic the fact that yes, there's breaks in between, so it's not back to back to back to back of the same week of events, but it's rather over the span of 6 months, pretty much. Well, 3 months really.
Mm. Did
And
you Oh, go on.
there's a question that a lot of people love to quote is, "Do you like hurting other people?" That question is given to the character and to the player themselves to point out the fact that either you're this person who has a lack of empathy, or you're doing this for fun, or you actually have a feel to the character that he's doing this because he's being told to and it's not his choice to. Rather, he's just following orders, and you're not this evil person behind a mask.
Yeah. I mean that kind of idea. Um. Oh, pardon me. Kind of also falls into I believe it was Black Ops or Black Ops 2. No, it was Black Ops. Um, it kind of falls into that idea because in Black Ops, obviously, you've got Reznov, who,
Yes.
like, people have gone into so much detail about this, about how Reznov didn't actually exist. It was just a figment of Mason's imagination. Um,
Yep.
so like everything he was doing, he thought he was doing it for Reznov, his friend who helped him escape it was a Russian prison, I think. Um,
Yeah, because he appears in World at War for a little bit.
yeah. Um, and it's all just a figment. I mean, when he tries to kill Kennedy, and things like that, it's going back on to what you said before. Though you were talking about the drive games. Did you ever play a game
Yeah.
called I think it was called Driver 3 San Francisco?
Yes, I've heard of that. That was the game that introduced. This doesn't make a lot of sense to a lot of people, but a fourth person's perspective.
No, 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 no.
'Cause
Second person.
yeah, people are like,
Because
it's.
it was mental because well it introduced fourth and second. It introduced fourth because you were this one player, but you crashed. I think it
Yeah.
was.
If I'm not
And
mistaken, the last part of that game where you have to chase the main character,
yeah, you have to
if
chase.
you stop. If you stop moving, he stops, and if you notice when you move the joystick, he moves the wheels.
Yeah,
So you're,
that was the introduction of second person because in the
yeah,
I think it is the last mission, you end up chasing yourself.
yep,
Um, which it was the way they designed that game was Im- immaculate. It was impeccable, and
yes.
for them
Game
to
design was beautiful with that one,
yeah
from licensed cars to being a prevalent feature of the game to being just a massive, well designed game.
yeah it was immaculate. And for them to introduce such a bold dynamic, such a second person, um, it was almost revolutionary. But the fact that it was revolutionary in the fact that it also hasn't been recreated ever. Um, I mean, I don't think I could name one other game where that's the case. Um, but yeah, Driver 3 San Francisco was, funnily enough, one of my first games that I ever played.
I
Um,
know first ever game that I've felt a like the characters have a bit of depth to them.
yeah,
Mind you, this was well when I got my PS4 first time I played GTA 5 truthfully to enjoy the story. The characters felt like they had depth to them, but they didn't feel like you could really get behind them as much as other games have done.
yeah.
Like with Grand Theft Auto 4, you had the actual feel that you can tell with Nico Bellic. He's a torn man. He's not really there. That he's there, but not like he's immune to certain things, whereas other people are reacting in such horrible ways to it.
See,
and he's just like, it's fine.
with GTA 4, I never completed the GTA 4 story.
It's
Um,
actually quite sad, to be
I
honest.
probably should have done. Yeah, I've heard that quite a bit. I probably should have finished it. Um, but with GTA 5, they don't give enough backstory to the characters. Obviously, you've got Michael, who they say is in
Betrays his own friend,
they
literally.
they say is in Witsec.
Yeah.
And obviously you've got Trevor. I think the most we know about him, again, excluding the prologue, is the fact that
Yeah.
he was in. He's Canadian, and then you've got.
Yeah, and
And then you've.
he's what was I? You continue with what you're saying. I forgot what I was going to say.
Okay, and then you've got the anomaly. One of the characters that has pretty much no backstory whatsoever is Franklin,
Yeah,
because the only bit of backstory we know about him is that he's got an ex-girlfriend, Tanisha, and that is it. That's the
and his mother apparently, according to one of the lines from Denise, his mother had passed away when he was quite young, but that's it.
yeah, and that's all we get. There's no character development really either. I mean, you've got the building tensions between all the characters
Yeah.
after the heist where you steal something in a submarine.
Oh yeah, they were very concerned about it. And
Yeah, and then
even that
the
was
the FBI tells you to give it back.
yeah,
And then you have the rising tensions between them. Obviously, they have to do another job to actually get some money. And
the
then
Polito score, which really gives depth to the fact that they're kind of being pawns in some way, but not really.
yeah, especially
Devin
when
Weston
Devon
highlights that
Weston,
a bit more.
yeah, especially when Devon Weston is introduced.
Yeah,
Um,
he has that very I'm gonna play someone else rather than do my own dirty work. Which yes, that was the ending. People are like, oh, there's an ending that was cut where Franklin has to die. Which, granted, he doesn't really fit into the game that well. He feels like an afterthought.
See, I don't. There isn't an ending where Franklin dies. It's either
Yeah,
Michael or Trevor.
or
Um,
you just don't kill any of them and go after Devin Weston himself.
yes, which I think is. I think first playthrough, I chose to kill off Trevor.
Yeah,
Um, but the fact was that it was the way they designed the game is you couldn't play him again. Like you couldn't switch to his character even after the story had ended.
yeah,
Um,
because which that makes sense to instill that like you've made this decision now you've got to live with it until you start the game all over again.
yeah. So and that's exactly what I did. I played the game over again. The thing is with Trevor, I liked playing with Trevor. His ability and obviously there's a lot more to do in
Yeah.
Sandy Shores. Um,
I like
which
the fact I played Michael DeSanta quite a bit, but then again I realized he's the way they portray him, he's a very depressed man who seemingly doesn't want to have anything to do with his family. Because the way he acts towards them is pretty evident that he doesn't want anything to do with like his wife, but
which
he
is
complains that stuff is happening.
yeah, which is he has a very love-hate relationship with his family, which is illustrated in I think two missions. First
Yeah.
one being I think the first mission you play as Michael, where he has his boat stolen, and
Yeah, because he doesn't care the fact that
his son.
granted, he brings up that Jimmy is in trouble, but he's like, in the mission, there's voice lines like, "You better hope the boat's still seaworthy" and all of that, and
Yeah,
stuff that cements that he doesn't. He's a very materialistic man, not a family-oriented man.
yeah, and then the second mission being the one where he catches his wife cheating on him with the tennis coach,
Yes.
which turns out to be uh, s- um, a guy that just ran into a house owned by that Martin Madrazo, and he pulls the house down off the cliff.
Yeah, that one. That I wouldn't get. I didn't get too much because um, with certain incidents that had happened
Yeah,
in that game.
first of all, that must have been the strongest pickup truck ever to exist to be able to pull an entire building off its foundations.
Yes.
That's
I mean, unless, which even in that one, I thought about that.
Oh,
There
you
would
just
be
got
several
very loud, by
building
the way.
file. Oh,
You just
sorry, I
got very
accidentally.
low.
That was This dye is running out from under the thing I have on my head, so it's getting in my eyes, and I'm trying to wipe it as fast as possible.
Right, yeah, that's not good. You don't want to be getting dye in your eyes. That's not helpful.
Yeah. Granted, it's vegan and all that, and I'm not vegan, but conscious about the environment a little bit. That's a plus. It smells honestly delicious.
Honestly,
But back,
I'm kind of the same. Like, I'm not vegan. Like, I could not go a week without eating meat. That's just not. And plus, I need the protein for the gym.
yes,
Um,
I walk about 10 miles a day on average.
that's just a bit excessive.
Well, I mean, I've genuinely been losing a lot of weight. Every cut back. That's like when people ask me what diet do I use, I just walk.
the
Genuinely, just walk.
the I think a diet I went on, um, which is a diet that supposedly you're supposed to get prescribed for you by a doctor. But I just went on it for shits and giggles because I wanted to lose weight. It was something called the Scarsdale diet. A
Oh yeah,
diet
I think I've heard of that.
made by Dr. Scarsdale, which is a diet that revolves around chemical reactions. You're not allowed dairy or anything like that. You have to have black coffee, black teas.
Hmm.
Um,
I have here in the US we have several ones. The keto diet. That one.
Keto, yeah. See,
Yeah, I've hated that.
the thing
I
about
tried that
keto
for months and hated it.
the thing about keto is it's kind of it's kind of one of those you think, oh yeah, great, I can eat loads of fatty stuff because obviously that's
Yeah.
what keto is. You eat fatty meals and then your body learns to change the fat into energy instead of the glucose. But after a while, it just gets a bit much. It's like, oh, this again.
Yeah, and when people are like, "Oh, well, if you just lift weights, yeah, you'll lift weights, but you got to think if you just focus on your upper body strength and not really everything else, you kind of basically make yourself top heavy pretty much
I
because
mean,
you're diverting a lot of that necessary energy to one half of your body rather than the other.
yeah, the thing with keto is
Which
it's a
I have a friend who did that, and granted, yeah, they can walk just fine, but still, they don't look. It looks kind of strange
yeah,
when
people.
I do it. Like, yes, I lift stuff I can lift about 300 pounds on a whenever I really kind of feel like it, not really average, but if I push myself to that much, I can.
Um, See, I don't use
But yeah,
pound. We don't use pounds in the. Oh, he's gone. How much we betting his phone's died, lads? I'll find him. I'll find him. Hang on, hang on, hang on. There we go. What happened to
yeah.
you?
Currently don't have internet that's good enough to run a lot of things, and I guess due to it being my phone, someone tried to call me a bunch of times. That's the
Right.
down running a hotspot. You can run it for so long, but I haven't run 30 gigs yet. Oh god, this stuff is dripping everywhere, and I've just wiped it onto a good shark.
Oh no.
That's wonderful to
That's
know that it is dripping onto my headset.
that's unfortunate. Um,
Yeah,
yeah. What was I gonna say? Um, yeah.
everywhere.
The thing about keto is, um, it's an excessive amount of protein, and when you go to the gym, people that just work out their upper body are a bit. They do look a bit strange. So that's the
Yes,
importance of never ever skipping leg day. You've got to work on your legs as well.
yes.
Um,
I've found that, like, granted, with 10 miles of running stuff, you can get tired quickly, but you build up that stamina, so you can constantly have a much higher amount of stamina in comparison to, say, I have friends that were like, "Oh yeah, you can run that much, you can run fast. I should run marathons." I don't want to because one, that can be tiring, and the people that do that go through extensive amounts of stuff, and I just can't seem to bring myself to actually wanting to do anything like that.
yeah, something like that. You've got to be purposely training for it. Otherwise, it can just be too strenuous on your body. Um,
Yes.
um. Anyway, right. We'll get into Modern Warfare 2 now. We'll talk about that a little bit more.
Yes,
With
looking
the release of Modern Warfare 2 set for October 8th, I think. What was
PC
it?
version is coming 28th, which I'm impressed that they've actually got Vault Upgrades editions, early open access, early beta, certain
Yeah,
things that you can get.
yeah.
Like,
You've got the multiplayer as well.
yeah, this
Um,
is. I'm hoping this is just like a really good full scale remaster with, granted, Modern Warfare 2's multiplayer back then was about as terrible as a dumpster fire. We
no, you
all know
can't
how that
say
was.
that. You can't say that though. Modern Warfare 2 is iconic for multiplayer, especially like Call of Duty 4 was iconic, and this isn't
It was
what you've got to
just,
keep.
community was just weird back
I
then.
mean, yeah, after a while it started getting like
But it hasn't changed much, obviously.
no. See, what you've got to keep in mind though is this is not a remaster. This is a new game. It's not it's not a remaster of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. It is a whole new Modern Warfare 2.
Oh yeah, I
Um,
see that now. I'm reading the Steam page of it,
yeah,
and I love how in the bottom of it it's like, no, this is basically continuation of the 2019 one and Warzone, which
yeah,
Warzone needs to just be discontinued, unfortunately. I agree on the discontinuation of Warzone. 100 gigabytes, not worth it.
no, it's not. It's too much.
Oh, and
Um,
speaking of which, the older Black Ops have just popped up for available purchase. And I'm not paying the prices of them when I can buy a new game for that.
yeah, it's like I was in Game earlier today, which is I guess the
Equivalent.
UK equivalent to GameStop. Um, and I saw Vanguard for like 59 pounds, um, which is about what the new game's going to cost, like probably about £10 off. Um, but I'm looking at the IGN page here, and it said that the multiplayer is bringing back the core makeup of Call of Duty games. It's
That's good.
bringing back the best parts of the 2019 remake, which is amazing.
I was
Um,
about to say, I remember when 2019 came out, there was a big prevalent issue with the shotgun being way too overpowered. Is that what they're trying to say? We're gonna make it fun for shotgunners again.
oh God, I hope not. Yeah, they had a lot of when Call of Duty release new updates. They have major issues with guns being way too overpowered. It's like some of them are overpowered from the beginning. People just don't find them. It's like when people found out that the revolvers were overpowered. You put the snake shot on them,
Yes.
dual wield them, and just it's like having two shotguns. They were ridiculously overpowered when snake shot is not supposed to be that powerful at all. Um,
I'm
let's see.
actually impressed that they've gotten Infinity Ward back on board with this one.
Hmm.
Which, I mean, Infinity Ward's been around since the very first one, which was released. Oh, this one, if they release it just about one day later on October 29th, I know people don't want that to happen,
Why?
but it would be celebrating the first ever release back in October 29th, 2003,
That would
as
be
well.
that would be some nice continuation there. But I'm just reading here that the gunsmith has been reworked as well. So instead of unlocking guns as they come, you now unlock the platforms. So the M4 platform could lead to unlocking the M16 or the .45 SOCOM. Um,
Yeah.
so like the families of guns, which is pretty cool. Like I hope, from my perspective, they introduce the L85 series, because obviously the British infantry rifle, well, the British military rifles, the L85, A1, A2, and the most recent A3 variants. The
Yeah.
A1 variant was atrocious. the A2 and A3 variants are said to be some of the best modern rifles on the planet. Because I mean, yes, it's a bullpup. Yes, it might not look the best, but
Yeah, at the same time, they're designed to more be. That's where people get the wrong idea with these guns. Is like, oh, they don't look natural. Well, you're not going to see them every day. That's the
yeah,
problem.
it
These guns
doesn't.
are more put out and deployed in the battlefield rather than just your standard garden variety of anything, really.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, as much as I adore the M4, which the U.S. military are currently using, it's reliable, it's practical, it's accurate. I get that, but the
Yeah,
L85 A2 and A3 variants, they're bullpups. And for anybody that doesn't know, a bullpup rifle is where the magazine is placed behind the trigger mechanism. This allows for a more compact rifle, all in all, giving a soldier better maneuverability. It's lighter as well. It's not as front heavy, which means recoil is a lot
yeah. Because I was
easier
about
to
to say,
manage.
if I'm not mistaken, with the M4, it has that weight to the front of it. But
Yeah,
because it's such a much commonly used gun, people weight reduce them for the military.
yeah, they're heavily weight reduced, but then again, for the military, they're also increased in weight when it comes to like under barrel 40 mic grenade launchers. Um, but with the L85, it's a bullpup, so it's a more compact rifle, allows for a lot easier maneuverability, but it still has that long barrel, um, which obviously it allows the bullet to pick up more velocity in the barrel before it leaves, giving obviously that penetrating power, stopping power, and range.
Yeah.
If you think about it. Um, so yeah, I hope to see the British rifles in there. That'd be quite nice.
I
Um,
know gun-wise, the M9 has always been prevalent in a lot of games, the pistol.
yeah, the M9 Beretta.
And fun fact, I actually have an airsoft version of it right now. I'm just kind of messing with it. And the way it's designed is such a simplistic gun, but
I think it's loosely based off the M1911.
yeah, I was about to say it can't rival what it's based off of.
Yeah, no.
But
See, the only difference is that the M9 Beretta has been remodeled for 9mm instead of 45 AP. Is it APC or
AC,
ACP?
ACP,
ACP that the M1911 was originally chambered in.
yeah,
So obviously you've got very subtle differences. It's a more modern rifle as well. Rifle
I
pistol,
know
sorry.
some people. I do know we have used the USP 45, but not USP match.
Yeah,
Both are the same gun. One just has a bit of a different
you'll probably also
compensator on it.
you'll probably also I think um, your military uses the M9 as well, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
we
Um,
use the M9 a lot more common because family that have been discharged still have theirs.
yeah, as well as the M19. Sorry, I meant to say M19.
Yep.
That's
Those that gun has been around for decades. Well, actually, yeah, decades, quite literally.
which one are we talking
They've
about? The M19
uh
or the
yes, the 1911.
oh the 1911? Yeah, that's been around since World War Two.
Actually, I think it was before that. Yeah, predating that here in the U.S. It was built late 1800s and put into military
That
action.
I don't think that's true.
There were
Um,
variations that were changed over time and traded hands with different companies. The concept ones were late 18 something before a company really picked up to produce them for military purposes. Actually, help me.
no, the M1911 or the Colt pistol
Yeah.
was adapted to the army on March 29th, 1911, which I guess is why it's called an M1911. Um,
Yeah, there's several variations of it.
yeah. So 1911. So that's it. It still does predate World War Two and World War One, for the matter of fact. Um,
Yeah, it was.
and obviously you've got the A1 and A2 variants, like a lot of guns, like the Beretta. Have you seen the? It's M82, isn't it, Beretta? Have you seen the
Uh,
M82A2?
no, no, I have not.
It's a bullpup 50 cal, and it's brilliant.
That is genius design.
Yeah, have you just searched it up now?
Uh, let me look that up. The M82.
M82A2. It's whereas the original Beretta, the M82A1 Beretta 50 cal, was it was designed to shoot from the floor with your bipod. This one
Yeah,
has been designed to shoulder, to be able to shoulder it and shoot it that way, which I think is it's impeccable design. It's.
I've actually seen one of these in person before. They had one set up. It was pretty intriguing that that was the rifle that I saw, and I did never know that.
Yeah, the design of it is it's mint.
Yeah, I th
Um,
that is actually a genius way of transporting a rifle too, because it can be a bit more compact.
I suppose, yeah. I mean, that's what all bullpup rifles are designed around, making the rifle more compact, but still allowing for that the the length of the barrel of a normal M82, so it
Yeah,
can pick up that velocity in the barrel. Um,
which the UK has always had its hand in bullpup history,
oh
even
yes,
from 1901 being the Thornycroft carbine,
yeah. From
which
early dates, they've always had their hand in that specific cookie jar. Um,
we've just kind of with the M1 Garand, that's pretty much it.
yeah, you kind of stuck with that design. Well, I say that design. It started with the M1 Garand, and then obviously during the war you had the American-made Thompson, which was discontinued. The
Yeah, they.
Tom,
I think that had to be discontinued due to various reasons.
I think the main reason it was discontinued is um after the war, obviously relationships between countries started getting better. Um,
Yeah,
and specifically, they needed a rifle to easily mass produce, and I think the way they did that was by um, obviously you've got the German-made MP5.
yeah,
Um,
that has definitely stuck around.
yeah, that is the most common service submachine gun. I mean, it's used by the British police, German police, Spanish police.
Even here in the US, we have
Yeah,
to use it in certain applications.
yeah, U.S. police, I think.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, so that got discontinued because I mean, not only did you have the MP5, you had the you've got the UMP. Um,
Yes. I know Heckler and Koch tried to take the MP5 success when they designed that and make the MP7, but the MP7 was, if I'm not mistaken, it's internally suppressed.
no,
Which,
that's not
oh no,
correct.
no, it
Um,
isn't. That's
I
right.
think the one
But it's a genius way that they thought of that, but it just doesn't feel practical because
no.
it's not.
See, the issue with internally suppressed weapons is it it takes away from, especially with a submachine gun, a barrel that's already short. So you're
Yeah.
missing out on a lot of range there, as well as quite a lot of stopping power. It might be a cool design, it might be quieter, but no, you can't beat a loud rifle, in my opinion. Um, but yeah, after the Thompson was discontinued, I think that's when the M16 era kind of rolled about during the Cold War, and um, they've pretty much designed all their rifles off the M16 since. Um,
Yeah, I know for certain. I know in the UK, Ministry of Defence Police and Metropolitan Police use the MP7 SF,
they do
where
the MDP also use a G36C carbine rifle.
Yes, those are actually personal favorites to me. I've actually always liked the design of that rifle.
Yeah, it's nice. I think it's a little bit too body. It has too much body to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it
Um,
feels a bit
it feels a bit
bigger than it probably should.
Yeah, it feels a bit chunky. Um, as well as the carrying handle. I'm not a massive fan of the carrying handle. Um,
I know here in the US, I know we use it for uh, Naval Special Warfare Development Group or SEAL Team 6.
yeah,
They
although
use it.
when you start talking about SEAL Team 6, they use pretty much whatever they feel like using.
Yeah, they're a bit on different level from our military because they're a bit more trained and a bit more.
Yeah, well, it's a special force, isn't it? Like
Yeah, where
the
no
navy's
offense to most of the military here, but they're mostly given just a gun and told to run out in a field, basically.
yeah, they're cannon fodders. I mean the Navy SEALs are equivalent to our SBS, which is the Special Boat Service. Obviously, you've
Yeah.
got the SAS, which is a whole separate thing. Um, the SAS are beasts. Um,
Yes. I've seen that. I
um,
know. I'm more intrigued with how the countries right now are currently handling with the
oh God, the
recent
Ukraine.
conflict.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're not gonna get political. I'm live streaming. that's
I
that's
mean,
that's a shit show waiting to happen.
yeah, surprisingly, ARMA has gotten political on servers. I'm saying this as to anyone out there. If you're joining any ARMA server, try not to listen to the audio from any players because they'll immediately try and make this almost as political as possible, especially on the Eastern Europe servers. Or not,
Yeah,
well, Eastern Europe maps, they try and make it that. I don't advocate any of that. I don't even touch those servers because even on DayZ, I don't touch them
yeah,
because the maps on there have had rough stuff happen to them as well, similar to how real life is going.
yeah,
Which even on there, for them, granted it's a fictional universe, but the Cherno-Russian conflict
yeah,
ended in basically DayZ being a thing. So I'm just public advisory out there.
yeah. Um, yeah. I mean, that's why one of the maps is called Chinaris.
Yeah,
Um, uh, yeah.
I
Back onto service weapons.
I
Um,
know what was that gun that we've been put into
oh yeah,
just
I was
constant use. Trying to think of that gun. Oh yeah, I
the new
remember
US
the
service rifle, the XM5.
yes,
They've recently adopted that, um, which is the Sig Sauer's XM5, as well as the standby. The XM5 and the XM250, so the XM250. I think one is a service rifle and the other is loosely based on a light machine gun design.
yeah, I know a lot of people are intrigued by this
Yeah,
design.
that's what they're replacing the M4 and the SAW with. But the thing about the XM5, I believe it was, is there have been rumors and concepts that it's a bullpup rifle, that it can be adapted to be a bullpup, um, which I would be very pleased about because that they're proving that they're proving
Yeah,
that bullpups are the way
that
to
would
go.
be pretty helpful for that too.
Yeah,
200, the XM5 weighs only 8.38 pounds. That's not, it actually doesn't weigh that much, really, in comparison to a lot of, compared, yeah, to the M4A1 with unsuppressed, but weighing still, granted, this can weigh a bit more. Hold on, excuse me for a moment.
both rifles will use a new 6.8 mm common cartridge. So they're derivative from 5.5, 5.6 by 4.5. The derivative from the NATO officiated rounds, which is interesting. But yeah, it looks like they can come in both forward and bullpup designs, which is quite interesting actually. The Sig Spear, it's called. Sig Sauer XM5. It's quite cool. I suppose it's a derivative of the you said you played Black Ops 4, right? Black Ops Cold War, sorry. Hello. Hello, is this thing on? Donnie.
I will return. I have to do the final steps of my hair.
Just quickly, before you go, you played Black Ops Cold War, didn't you?
Yes.
I suppose the XM5 is a derivative of the XM4 assault rifle, which was supposedly the M4 variant of Cold War.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is technically, yeah, that is true. Because it's about the same. To me, it has the same feel.
Yeah.
Never fired one in real life, nor do I plan to.
Yeah. You go do what you need. I'm gonna end the stream.
Alrighty, yep.
Yeah. Okie dokie, guys. Nobody tuned in, which is depressing, but you know what they say. Thank you, everybody, for whoever watches this now, whoever might watch it in the future. If you did like, make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe if you're feeling amazing. I will leave I'll leave a link to my Discord in the description. Apart from that, thank you very much, everybody. I hope you had a good time. I hope you've learned something. Yes. Suggestions to talk about games are always open. You can suggest them in my Discord or in the YouTube comments. I'll make sure to check them regularly. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you all soon.